Today, we're going to dive into the historical and cultural significance of horses in the United States and Europe, and how this has led to the perception of horse meat as a taboo food. Horses have played a critical role in the development of human societies, particularly in Europe and the United States. They provided transportation, power for agriculture, and were essential in warfare. As a result, horses were revered and held in high esteem. In European cultures, horses had been associated with nobility and chivalry. Knights rode horses into battle, and owning a horse was often seen as a sign of wealth and social status. In many cultures, horses were also considered to have spiritual or mystical qualities. For instance, in Celtic mythology, horses were associated with the sun and fertility, and in Norse mythology, the god Odin rode an 8-legged horse named Sleipnir.
But the best expenses of the country is that it needed to be sent to colonization systems and the colonization of government. It is that
They were essential for transportation, farming, and communication, and they became an integral part of the cowboy and Wild West culture. Native American tribes also had a deep connection with horses, using them for hunting and warfare, as well as for spiritual and cultural practices. Given the history and cultural importance of horses in both Europe and the United States, it's not surprising that the idea of eating horse meat has become taboo. Horses are often considered companion animals, much like dogs and cats, and the thought of consuming them is met with strong emotions and cultural resistance. This emotional attachment to horses, as more than just a food source, has contributed to the perception of horse meat as something that should not be eaten. In our next section, we'll discuss the role of animal welfare concerns and ethical considerations in the decision to ban horse meat consumption in various countries. Now let's take a look at the role of animal welfare concerns and ethical considerations in the decision to ban horse meat consumption in various countries. There's no doubt that the emotional and cultural connections to horses play a significant role in the aversion to consuming horse meat. But there are also genuine concerns about the welfare of these animals. In many countries where horse meat consumption is banned or discouraged, one of the primary reasons is the concern about the treatment of horses during the slaughter process. Horses are often transported long distances in cramped conditions without sufficient food, water, or rest. This can lead to stress, injury, and even death before the animals reach the slaughterhouse. Additionally, there's concern about the actual slaughter process, as horses are known to be more sensitive and skittish than other livestock animals, like cows or pigs. This heightened sensitivity can make the experience of being led to slaughter particularly distressing for horses, and there are reports of horses being subjected to inhumane treatment during this process. Ethical considerations also come into play when discussing horse meat consumption. Because of the resources are single-list, it would be titled. Many people argue that, given the strong emotional and historical ties humans have with horses, it is unethical to consume them. This argument is particularly relevant in countries where horses are considered companion animals and treated with love and care by their owners. Moreover, there are concerns that the horse meat industry may contribute to the illegal or unethical treatment of horses, such as cases where stolen or abandoned horses end up in the slaughter pipeline. These concerns have fueled the push for bans on horse meat consumption or stricter regulations on the industry. In summary, animal welfare concerns and ethical considerations play a significant role in the decision to ban or discourage horse meat consumption in various countries. These concerns, combined with the historical and cultural significance of horses, make it a particularly controversial and emotionally charged topic. Next, we'll explore the potential health risks associated with horse meat, including the presence of veterinary drugs and the possibility of contamination. Moving forward, let's explore the potential health risks associated with horse meat, including the presence of veterinary drugs and the possibility of contamination. While some people argue that horse meat is a lean, high-protein alternative to traditional meats like beef or pork, it's important to consider the potential health risks that may be associated with its consumption. One of the primary health concerns related to horse meat is the presence of veterinary drugs, particularly a substance called phenylbutazone, or bute. Bute is an anti-inflammatory drug commonly used to treat pain and inflammation in horses, but it's not approved for human consumption due to potential side effects, including bone marrow suppression and increased risk of certain cancers. While regulatory agencies have set limits on the allowed levels of bute in horse meat, there have been cases where these limits have been exceeded, raising concerns about the safety of consuming horse meat. Another potential health risk associated with horse meat is the possibility of contamination with pathogens like Salmonella or E. coli. As with any meat, improper handling, processing, or storage can lead to contamination and increase the risk of foodborne illness. However, in some cases, the horse meat industry may not be subject to the same level of regulatory oversight as other meat industries, which could potentially increase the risk of contamination. Moreover, there are concerns about the potential for mislabeling and fraud within the horse meat industry. In 2013, a scandal erupted in Europe when it was discovered that horse meat had been fraudulently substituted for beef in products like frozen lasagna and hamburgers. This raised concerns not only about the ethics of the industry, but also about the potential health risks associated with consuming horse meat that may not have been subject to proper safety checks. In conclusion, while horse meat may be considered a viable alternative to other meats from a nutritional standpoint, there are potential health risks associated with its consumption. These risks, combined with the ethical and animal welfare concerns we've discussed, contribute to the ongoing controversy surrounding the consumption and trade of horse meat. Next, we will compare the cultural and ethical reasons for horse meat bans with the consumption of other controversial animal products, such as foie gras or shark fin soup. Now, let's compare the cultural and ethical reasons for horse meat bans with the consumption of other controversial animal products, such as foie gras or shark fin soup. The debate surrounding horse meat is not unique. There are other animal products that evoke strong emotions and ethical concerns due to their production methods or cultural significance. Foie gras, for example, is a luxury food item made from the liver of ducks or geese that have been force-fed to fatten their livers. This process, called gavage, has been criticized for its inhumane treatment of the birds, causing extreme discomfort and potential health problems. As a result, foie gras production has been banned in several countries, and its sale is restricted in some areas. The ethical concerns surrounding foie gras are primarily based on animal welfare issues, much like the concerns about horse meat. Shark fin soup, on the other hand, is a traditional Chinese dish that has become controversial due to the practice of finning, where sharks are caught, their fins are removed, and their bodies are often discarded back into the ocean while they're still alive. This practice has led to a decline in shark populations and has raised significant ethical and environmental concerns. In this case, the controversy is rooted in both the cruelty of the practice and its negative impact on the ecosystem. While the specific concerns and cultural contexts differ, the controversies surrounding horse meat, foie gras, and shark fin soup share some common themes. In each case, there are concerns about the treatment of the animals involved, the ethics of consuming these products, and the impact on the environment or ecosystem. These debates highlight the complex relationship between culture, ethics, and food choices, and they demonstrate that the consumption of animal products is not always a straightforward issue. In our next and final section, we will analyze the economic and political factors that have influenced the regulation of horse meat production and trade in the United States and Europe. In this final section, we will analyze the economic and political factors that have influenced the regulation of horse meat production and trade in the United States and Europe. While the cultural and ethical aspects of horse meat consumption play a significant role in shaping public opinion, it's important to recognize the economic and political forces that have shaped the industry as well. In the United States, the horse meat industry has been heavily influenced by political pressure from both animal rights activists and the general public. This pressure led to the defunding of horse meat inspections by the USDA in 2007, which effectively shut down the country's horse slaughter facilities. While this decision was driven by animal welfare concerns, it also had significant economic consequences, as it forced the export of horses to other countries for slaughter. often under less regulated and potentially more inhumane conditions. Similarly, in Europe, the horse meat industry has faced regulatory challenges due to concerns about animal welfare, health risks, and mislabeling scandals. The European Union has imposed strict regulations on the import and sale of horse meat, requiring traceability and testing for veterinary drugs. These regulations have increased the cost of producing and selling horse meat, which has likely contributed to its declining popularity in some European countries. Another economic factor to consider is the role of global trade in shaping the horse meat industry. International demand for horse meat, particularly from countries where it is more widely accepted as a food source, has driven the export of horses from countries like the United States and Canada. This international trade has led to a complex and often controversial supply chain, as horses are transported across borders to be slaughtered and processed. In conclusion, the regulation of horse meat production and trade in the United States and Europe has been heavily influenced by a combination of cultural, ethical, economic, and political factors. While public opinion and concerns about animal welfare have played a significant role in shaping these regulations, economic interests and global trade have also played a part in determining the trajectory of the horse meat industry. As we've seen, the consumption of horse meat is a complex and multifaceted issue, touching on aspects of culture, ethics, health, economics, and politics.